Hello students, we have an exam coming up, so you probably want to know how should I get ready for it. So first thing you do, there's the book and you have your notes. Now I don't always follow the book exactly. There are times where I deviate, but I do point those times out in the videos. So if you took notes during the videos, which I assume you did, then you'll know when that happened. So if I deviate from the book, follow what I said, not what the book says. So your notes are important to supplement the book to know when I'm doing something different. So some students put in a lot of work with the book and the notes, but they still do badly. And when I ask them what's going on, it turns out that they weren't really doing a lot of practice problems. So it's not just about knowing definitions and concepts. You've got to also be able to apply that to solve different problems and be able to analyze different situations. So your next resource is make sure you work through all your old homework problems and make sure you work through the practice problems that I posted on my courses. So that gives you some hands-on practice where you get to apply his ideas to different situations, and that will help you develop your mastery more thoroughly. I have almost never, I'm not sure if I've met any student who is just too dumb for micro. It's just a matter of doing the right doing the right amount of work, and also doing practice problems, being able to analyze problems and not just know definitions. So to get the most out of the homework problems and the practice problems, do them on your own first and only check the answer key later. A lot of times, someone will check the answer key first and nod their head, yeah, I could do that on a test. But then when the test comes, there's no one telling you how to do it, then they find, oh, that was not quite so easy after all. How do I approach this problem? So that's why it's better to start on your own first. Only check the answer key as a very last resort. You get way more out of the practice problems that way. The same is true for the practice session. So in the class period before the exam, we take a practice test that does not count for your grade, and we take it under exam-like conditions. And there'll be more announcements about that when the time comes. So be sure to show up for that and give it your best. If you skip the practice session, then you're missing out on some problems. Or if you only get the answer key later, again, you don't get as much the same value from looking at the answer key as you would have gotten if you'd tried the problems on your own first, only check the answer key later. So be sure to take advantage of all those opportunities. I also have extra office hours before the exam. So if you've done all this stuff over here and you still have some things you are unsure about, go ahead and ask me some economics questions. I stress economics questions. A lot of times I get asked things like, how many questions will be in the test? Will there be a curve? This is already announced earlier, and if you already know that stuff, was a curve or not, or how many questions are on the test, that kind of information does not help you do better on the exam. Asking questions about economics and getting answers about economics will help you do better on an economics exam. See the pattern here? It's about economics. So if you have questions, go to our Zoom office hours. I also recommend start studying early. If you try to cram things at the last minute, especially in an accelerated course, it's probably not going to go very well. Also, if you start studying early and you have questions, you have time to stop by office hours and get clarification. If you study late into the night, I've gotten some emails at 3 a.m. sometimes, I notice. When I look back and see when was the email sent, there's some obvious problems there because economics is not just about recitation, it's also about using your critical thinking skills. You're going to want to get a good night's sleep. So you start studying well in advance and sleep well before the exam, then your mind will be fully rested and ready to show off how well you've mastered economics. So those are my study tips. I hope you guys all get A's and do very well on the exam. Take care.